Okay, Torah concept in the New Testament, take no anxious thought of defense. Okay, so Yeshua's instruction not to anxiously plan one's defense against hostile authorities. We read this in Matthew 10, Mark 13, and Luke 12 and 21. This echoes the Torah's pattern that God himself defends his people when they face accusation, threat, or judgment. So the Torah repeatedly shows that human strategizing is unnecessary when God is the one who speaks, vindicates, and fights for his own. So the Torah parallels to do not anxiously plan one's defense. 1. God himself speaks and defends. We read this in Exodus chapter 4 and chapter 7. Yeshua's promise that the Spirit will give words in the moment directly parallels God giving Moshe's speech before hostile authority. Okay, and that was a promise of God to Moshe before Pharaoh, remember? 2, God fights for his people when they cannot defend themselves. So Exodus 14 and Deuteronomy chapter 1. The Torah repeatedly frames defense as God's responsibility, not Israel's anxious preparation. 3, God vindicates the innocent without their self-defense. So Genesis 20 and Numbers 21. So the Torah shows God stepping in to answer accusations, precisely what Jesus promised the Spirit will do. God gives words to his servants in a crisis moments. We read this in Deuteronomy 22 and Numbers 22 and Deuteronomy 18. The Torah theme is that God, not human preparation, governs the speech of his servants. 5. Israel is forbidden to fear future hostility. So Deuteronomy 31 and 20. Okay, in chapter 20, Yeshua's command not to fear future interrogations mirrors the Torah's command to not fear future battles. Okay, so the context here is that Yeshua's instruction that his disciples should not anxiously prepare the defense before rulers is a direct continuation of the Torah's theology of divine defense. In the Torah, God gives his servants the words they need, confronts accusers, vindicates the innocent, and fights battles on behalf of his people. The apostolic teaching simply extends this covenantal pattern. When God's people stand before hostile powers, their confidence is not in rehearsed arguments, but in the God who speaks through them and defends them. So the core insight here is that the Torah establishes that God, not human anxiety, secures the defense and vindication and speech of his people. Yeshua renews this same covenantal principle. Do not heed or fear or prepare elaborate defenses, because the God of the Torah will again speak, defend, and act on their behalf in a moment of trial. Again, this is how Yeshua taught Torah in the New Testament. The Torah has not passed away.